Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. And I'm with my friends, Willie Walls and the great Swame Odell Blocker. Week 2 is a little bit messy, Willie. I don't know, a lot of strange things going on in the NFL.
Yes, I think it's going to normalize this week. So we're ready. We're ready for it this week.
I hope so. Swami, you took down a tournament, my man. Congratulations.
I appreciate it, Doc. I'm just waiting until the I told you so segment of this show because Mr. Walls got a lot of pie to eat. Humble pie. Set!
Now, I don't know what humble pie I got to eat, sir. What are you talking about?
Oh, Doc, we can start early. I told him about Mr. Barkley. I told him about Mr. Mixon. This was the week for Chubbs. I'm not really sure.
Man, get on here, man. You listen. Listen. I don't want to hear that. We move on to this one.
We save it for off air because you said you didn't know what pie you was eating.
He thought it was pumpkin pie. He wasn't sure.
Yeah, but you ain't like Dortch. I told you about Dortch. I don't even want to hear nothing, man. Get on out of here.
And
now, and you ain't want to play that other guy for the doc told you about too. Now you want to play him.
I played Doolin. I'm off him. And Mr. Brady was head of the milk.
Yeah, he was terrible. That whole game was terrible.
Doesn't he look weird? His face looks weird. His body looks weird. He just looks weird. He went from like the best looking guy ever to some strange looking freak. I don't know.
Doc is cold halfway to 50. There he is.
No, not that. He's not eating. All he's eating is plants.
Yeah.
55. He's just halfway to 50.
I don't know. If your wife looked like her and she said, I want you to retire, I think you guys might consider it. All right, let's get to it. I'm going to avoid some of the bad games like the Saints and Panthers. I want no part of this game. I don't care if Christian McCaffrey's playing in it. The Texans and Bears, though, guys, we haven't seen Darnell Mooney do anything yet. David Montgomery had a good week, and there are some people that I respect. Trevor Hillstrom, who works at drroto.com, who said the strangest thing, which I always listen to Trevor because that dude wins. He liked Justin Fields this week because – you know what? If he actually goes off and has a week, well, somebody could take down a millionaire maker from this guy. Do we like any pieces in this game? Willie, you're giving me that look, and that look tells me that the answer is going to be no, but I'm going to throw it out anyway.
Let me say this. I don't trust nobody that has thrown the ball a total of 28 times. Total in 2 games. And when they were down by halftime of 14, and they ran the ball 17 times and passed it 7 times. Who does that? Now, let me say this. Mr. Montgomery is a man of interest. I will say that. He's a man of interest. Houston gives up against the run. Mr. Montgomery, he can handle 71% of their plays, one of the highest in the league, 10th highest in the league. So he is a man of interest. But I mean, Mr. Fields, I'm gonna play him in our leagues. So I am gonna play him, but I am not playing him at quarterback. I can tell you that right now. It's not happening.
Dameon Pierce, Brandon Cooks, Darnell Mooney. Any names here that you can get behind? Anything?
I like him. I just don't love him, Doc. I could get behind Pierce. I could get behind, probably both running backs. You can convince me of both defenses. And if you were, desperate and season long, you're talking Mooney and Cook, but I don't like it. I mean, I don't love it, Doc. No.
All right, let's talk Chiefs and Colts. And what if I told you this stack, the Mahomes, Jonathan Taylor, Travis Kelce stack, is going to go so severely under-owned this week? Swami, you could be getting 3 of the best players, maybe in NFL history, at the lowest ownership they'll ever be. Will you buy in?
Doc, it's tough to buy into those 9 carries and getting shut out last week. And then you feel like if they fall behind, here's the good. Let me start with the good. You got the home opener for the Colts. You likely have Pittman back in the lineup. It's a chance that they're going to lean on Taylor and have a much better showing this week. The problem is if they fall behind. Matt Ryan just didn't seem like he got anything going last week, and it just caused pause, concern. It raised questions if this Colts offense is better, and I'm not really sure that they are. You know that the Chiefs are going to show up. I think Kelsey probably going to bounce back, but if they can make it a little bit competitive, then I could get behind that stack. It's just so much uncertainty on the Colts side. Wow.
Willie, nobody, I mean, Swame's saying Taylor didn't do anything, but just when you think that guys do nothing, all of a sudden they get 28 carries for 142 yards and 2 touchdowns, and we're like, how do we not have this guy in our lineups?
No, thank you. Okay, I understand what you're saying. You know, their prices, there's better value for me on this slate. And no, thank you. I like Mr. Taylor. Listen, love him. Hey, Mr. Taylor, how you doing? But no, you won't be in my lineup. I guarantee you that.
All right. Bills and Dolphins. Man, woo! The Bills look great. The Dolphins came back and beat the Swame's Ravens in horrific fashion. If you're a Raven fan, I mean, you can't imagine that happened. But is it too much to ask that lightning is going to strike twice for these teams? Now, remember, Byron Jones is not 100%, probably not even playing. Howard is not 100%. I mean, this could be a Josh Allen field day. And if that's the case, then Tua with Tyreek and Waddle looks sexy again here, Swame. What's your thoughts?
I just don't think the Bills defense would allow them to come back down 21. And I think they can find themselves again down 21. You respect the speed on the outside. You do like the fact that it looks like Tua is starting to develop something with them. But I just think the Bills' pass rush is much better than the Ravens' pass rush. And they'll probably get after Tua. So if they can find a way to stay in the game early, now you're talking about something a little bit different. But I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with that Bills offense. And I definitely don't think Tua is going to be able to have that type of performance this week.
Willie, does this game have your interest?
It definitely had my interest because let me say this. Josh Allen is a monster. Okay. 31.9, 29.7 points, first 2 games. And, this is the thing about Josh that people don't realize. First of all, he's throwing for 75%, completing 75% of his passes. And this guy beforehand, in the past 6 games, has 8 Miami up, averaging 27.4 points. And what people don't understand is how he's improved from this year to last year. Last year, when he was blitzed, he completed 58% of his passes. This year, it's up to 68%. Okay. Now, what the Bills have this year is what people don't understand is they have the second most pressure rate in the NFL, second most, and they have only blitzed 3 times. 3 times they've only blitzed 3 times, so they bring them back. They got rookies, but let me say this: this is why I think Miami have a shot. This is the reason the Bills are without 3 of their defensive backs in this thing. And they without their pass rusher.
I know Micah Hyde is out.
Yeah, they without Michael Hyde. Dane Jackson is out, and Jordan Phillips, who is their number 1 pressure guy, that gets 19% of the pressure, he's out. Okay, so now when you're taking 3 people out, and then you got those rookies, and then you got that speed that's out there, they can make a mistake. I know they zone it up, but I'm just telling you, Tyreek, will make you slap your head, by accident because he's so fast. So I'm just saying there's an opportunity. I still think I agree with Swame with the Bills defense is something different. But when you're missing 3 of your defensive backs, you saw what happened to the Ravens last week.
That's coaching. That's coaching.
Yeah. They were missing 3. I'm just saying, but it does have an effect. So I think I wouldn't have been looking at Miami at all. But when those 3 defensive backs out, with speed, they have a shot. But definitely on a Josh Allen side, unstoppable now. But the guy that I would like this week, because he's coming back and people won't be on him, but I will be on him, Mr. Gabe Davis. Yeah, give me Gabe Davis. I would not be playing. Everybody's gonna be on Diggs. Don't get me wrong. He is the man. I got it. But guess what? You know how things roll. Gabe Davis coming off. He had that ankle. They said he's feel well. That's the guy I will be on. Is Gabe Davis in this game.
I want to ask you guys this question. I hear what you're both saying, and I agree. I'm just going to give you devil's advocate. Miami knows that they need to keep Josh Allen off the field. Miami has not really run the ball very well in the first 2 games. Is this a game where Miami gives the ball to Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert and does more ball control with Tyreek and Waddle, shorter passes to try to keep Josh Allen off the field as much as possible, Swami?
I like that game theory, right? It would give them a shot to try to slow the Bills down. If you can kind of limit their possessions, if you can have maybe some 6, 7, 8 minute kind of, drives, 1 or 2 of those. I just don't think that offense is disciplined enough right now with Tua to be able to do it. They don't seem to run the ball. They're not committed to the run. They don't seem to do it well. So I don't know if they're going to do that. But if they did, let's just go with that. If they were to do it, would it be effective? Maybe for a series or 2, but what happened when the Bills get the ball? I don't see them being able to do. I mean, they gave up 48 fantasy points to the quarterback position last week. They're going to probably give up 40 this week. I just don't see how they stop Josh Allen the way he's playing right now.
All right, I got a game for you guys that I think we're all going to love. The Vikings and Lions, chock full of starts here. I know Kirk Cousins was, as Willie would say, ass of the milk of the ass on Monday. But, he's playing against the Lions at home. So you're talking about Cousins, Dalvin Cook, who we haven't heard anything about, Jefferson, Adam Thielen, DeAndre Swift, who just, as Willie said last week, just pours the points on, Amon-Ra St. Brown, TJ Hawkinson, who I haven't even heard of from. Willie, is this a game that you are interested in?
Yeah, absolutely. I had some interest. Mr. Kirk Cousins was assy last week, as you say, and I agree. He stunk. But against cover 1, Kirk Cousins is the best in the league. He has like a 25-1 TD interception ratio in the last 3 years against cover 1. And guess what? Guess what Detroit likes to do? They like to blitz. Okay. Detroit plays more man than anybody in the league. They play 40% man to man. You play man to man against Mr. Jefferson, that is not good. Okay. Then you talking about you play man to man and you blitz 38% of the time, which is the highest in the 4 or 5 in the league. That's a recipe for disaster. Okay. Then you take it on the other end. Whatever his name is, whatever his name is. Remember this rascal has scored, has over 8 catches in 8 straight games and scored in 6 straight games. So then you got Swift, they block well, and you saw what Philadelphia did to him. Now, I don't think Detroit is going to be as well, but definitely I have interest the pieces in this game, and I tell you, I know I won't be playing that DJ Shark. He won't be in one day. I do know that bastard. I don't trust him. The only one if I had to go to receive. And Doc, I'm sorry. I cannot play TJ Hawkinson. No, thank you. I will be more interested in the other tight end for Minnesota.
If I can't catch the football, Smith.
I understand.
Oh my God, that was the worst thing I've ever seen.
But he still had 14, 15 points, and he was cheeks with missing that ball. But I'm glad he didn't catch it, because if he caught that, he would have been chalky chalk. If he caught that, because he would have blew up. So I hope a lot of people went to bed and didn't watch that. But I said, ooh, he went from 18% users to now 55, 60%. And now what I see from him is also that burst in her. I love that burst. So I like that. So you could go with a Jefferson high and go with a Irv Smith at that second receiver, to bring that price down a little bit, because he's only 3,100. So that would be great. But also, I'm not mad at Mr. Thielen, because he has been ass cheeks. But if he can't do it against these guys, then you cannot play no more Mr. Thielen, period. And Cook, and Cook has an elite matchup. So what you hope that don't happen is that, Cook take 2 or 3 touchdowns, and then that's going to mess up your pass catcher.
Swami, what you doing in this game? Swami?
First of all, Willie, the up box for you. My goodness, the sand table. Oh, can you hear me? Am I here?
Yep, we're good.
I was giving Willie a hard way to go. His answer took all my bandwidth up. My goodness. That was awesome. Gee, low nutty. Anyway, Doc. So As far as this game,
okay, thank you, Swami. All right,
so I disagree with Willie a little bit. I do like the Detroit side of this, and I'm gonna tell you why. It was what he said. It's the way that Swift is playing, right? He is there's a lot of big plays coming out the backfield. He is getting a lot of attention, and he is really taking over that backfield. I really like what I'm seeing from Swift. And Jared Goff is benefiting from that, not just with St. Brown, but also just out in the backfield, big plays where he's hitting Chark. Hawkinson still needs to get involved. I know he's a little bit banged up right now, so I do agree with Willie. Not really feeling them, I need him, so have a go. I don't like that questionable tag and limited practice all week. But anyway, so I do think they're going to be able to do a little bit on that side of the ball to keep this interesting, give us that back and forth that we need, even if it's just a little bit. And so that's going to continue to push the Vikings offense. I like that side better, but I'm not mad. Just like I told you last week, Doc, I said, I'm interested in Mr. Goff, if you remember. I said, Mr. Goff is going to be interesting, if you guys remember. This week, I think Mr. Cousins is going to bounce back, though. And has anybody seen Thielen? Anybody seen Thielen? Nobody's seen him here either, Doc. Maybe that rascal will show up. I don't know where he is. He's on the back milk carton. So hopefully he'll show up.
We need some leverage, guys, right? So if you play this game too chalky, you're probably going to lose, or you're probably going to be with 40% of people. If you go Cousins with Jefferson and come back with Amon-Ra, how are you getting any differentiation?
No, I mean, I would rather come back with. Yeah.
Right. So if you went Cousins, Cook, Thielen, you're getting differentiation right there.
You're going to get all the leverage in the world right there. I promise you.
Yeah, but he is definitely play because he has been horrible. So this will be the bounce back, and he might get 2 or 3 touchdowns, and then that will relegate the pass receivers to, okay, so that's a leverage play.
Swami, when you're playing, when you do a lineup, are you trying to win or are you trying to cash?
I'm trying to take down the tournament, Doc. GPP.
That's right.
Trying to take it all down. Just never trying to cash. What
about you, Willie? When you play, are you trying to cash or are you trying to win?
They're trying to win. That's why I finished in last place a lot.
That's right.
Because you go for it, you're like, oh, okay, well that didn't work, But
that's okay, but you're trying to win, right?
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying. When we set lineups up, we've got to be setting it up in a way to give us leverage, so that if that leverage hits, we're taking down the tournament.
Yep.
All right, Ravens, Patriots. Can I agree? There's nothing in there. We good on that?
No, thank you.
Swami, your guys, the Ravens, anything? Nothing.
Maybe the Patriots defense. No, sir.
All right. Bengals and Jets. I think there's a game here, guys. I think the Bengals and Jets are sneaky. The Bengals have been poo-poo, right? Really bad. Burrow cannot continue to be this bad. Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. On the other side, you've got Michael Carter. You've got Breece Hall. You've got Elijah Moore. You've got Garrett Wilson. Willie, talk to me about this game. I think this game may be sneaky fantasy goodness right here.
It can, but I'm going to tell you what I don't like. That offensive line of Cincinnati's is horrible. I mean, they are really horrible. And I think when that happens, I know Burrow is Joe Cool, but let me tell you something. Sometimes you see things that ain't there. You know what I mean? You're shaking. You got the Tourette's. Whatever people that do that little thing right there. I'm telling you, I like the game, but man, it's hard for me to like Mr. Mixon when that line stinks. And right now they stink. So I just think that they're priced high, and man, I tell you, I see what you're saying, Doc, but I'm gonna be underweight in this game. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be underweight. I know about Garrett Wilson. He's the flavor of the month and everything like that. I got it. Understand, but man, that line right there, man, that film don't lie. I look at that film, I'm like, whoa.
But Swami, I think Willie's wrong here, and I'll tell you why. Micah Parsons is a man possessed, one of the greatest, pass rushing guys I've seen in the last decade. The Jets don't have anybody. They don't have 4 guys who equal Micah Parsons. Joe Burrow is not going to get a lot of pressure.
Doc,
you play that, Swami?
Walls is as wrong as ketchup on pizza. And let me tell you why. Because this game has GPP all over it. Burrow is going to pop. He's going to do something at some point. And if you can pick out which pieces of this you like, I would go with Chase and maybe Higgins. And I come back either Mr. Wilson, who I think will be the pop, but to get leverage, come back with more. I think that is some possibilities that are here. That
come back with Conklin. I will come back with Conklin over more.
Well, I think Moore's a little bit more explosive, but in this game, it's going to be some fantasy goodness. But on the low side, on the sneaky play side, I'm not mad at the Jets defense at their price, Doc, and it's only because
yeah. Out of the side of your neck. Out of the side of your neck. Because you know that line stinks.
It's boom or bust. GPP is boom or bust. That's what
I'm not touching Garrett Wilson this week. I'm not. Not that I don't like him. But when a guy is good in week 2, things come down in week 3 because everybody tries to ride the same wave from week 2. I'm not riding that wave. I'm trying to find the new wave, right? I'm on my surfboard surfing around looking for that fresh wave, right? That fresh wave for me feels like it's Elijah Moore. Maybe it's Conklin. That's right. We're doing our little thing there. And maybe it's even Breece Hall or Michael Carter. I just know it's not Garrett Wilson. But I think, Swami, you're onto something. The question is, for me, is it Burrow, Chase, Higgins, or is it Burrow, Mixon, Higgins, or Burrow, Mixon, Chase? I just don't know which way to do it, Swami.
Well, if Mixon can't do it this game, then I'm all for Cincinnati, period.
Right.
You know, if he can't do it this game, I don't know what to tell you.
All right. Raiders and Titans.
I like it, though. This one I like.
Hunter Renfrow is out. Okay. You've got a condensed group. Devontae Adams sees 2 passes. Do you not think Devontae is going into the locker room and saying to Derek Carr, I did not come to Las Vegas for 2 passes. Bleep, bleep. Give me the football. And if so, is he going to get the football? And Willie, what about Derrick Henry? We haven't seen him. What about Robert Woods? Is there anybody we're going to come back in on this game?
You can play Derrick Henry all you want. You can have him. That big bastard won't be in one of my lineups. I can tell you that right now. Not only no, but hell no, he will not be in one lineup. And man, you know, and I will say this: you saw what Buffalo did. That secondary is horrible. You beat them. You don't beat them. You know, one thing I'll give Tennessee is they do well against tight ends. Okay. So I don't want no part of Waller. But yes, you give me that Matt Collins and you give me some Devontae. I'll take that. Well, Carr. And then maybe because what's the name? They get gashed. The Raiders have allowed opposing tight ends 15 of 21 targets and 115 yards and 2 TDs. So maybe it could be a Harper sighting. You know, that Harper dude for tight end. Hooper, yeah. So, you know, and nobody who wants to play Hooper, but I'm just saying that's the type of thing that it might be a crazy thing that you'll play. But I'm telling you, Devontae is definitely in play because they stink. Their secondary stinks, and they still without Elijah Meldon. Man, they in trouble. The Titans are in trouble in the secondary.
I kind of like that there, Swami. I think maybe an Adams and do you come back with a Hooper who's going to be cheap? But Willie's right. The Raiders are the 3rd worst team against opposing tight ends this year.
Mm-hmm. Let me say what I didn't like last week. Every now and again, we get these defensive coordinators who come with this brilliant anti-fantasy football idea, And you often see him deployed against guys like Devontae Adams. And we used to see it against guys like Megatron, Old Carlson, where they'll have a linebacker just run underneath, cornerback outside, safety, and the whole defense is just to be disrupted and take Devontae Adams out of the game. That's why you saw Mac Hollins and all these other guys getting all these targets. I hope that's not a trend. That is complete and total milk when it comes to fantasy. And it's the thing that I don't like about players like Devontae, because they get that kind of attention. And they don't even care who you throw it to on the other side. They don't care if it's Mac Collins, Mac the Knight, Mac, Big Mac. I can't stand it, Doc. And I hope we don't see it again. It scares me because you see when they did that, they were successful, and it slowed down the Raiders' attack. That's what I don't like. That's what concerns me. We'll start on them and start to attack the Raiders that same way. Now, if they don't, then again, I think I like Raiders side of it. I like it. But Tennessee hasn't shown me anything, and I don't think I like any of them. Maybe you could talk me into Hooper.
All right. Eagles and the Washington football team, Willie. Your Commanders. I worry, though. I mean, I do like the Commanders have a lot of guys, but Slay and Bradbury, man, they're pretty good. Can the Commanders get any offense against this Eagle team?
Let me say this. First of all, the Eagles are great plays. Let me say this. Number one wide receivers have been, Christian Kirk, 6 for 117. Amon St. Brown, 9, 116, 2 TDs. A.J. Brown is definitely in play. And then Hurts, 27.7, 27.7. He looked like he's in command. You could tell that he was doing studying this past summer. Love the way he looks. The Commanders' defense is milky ass. Milk. When I say milk, there's milk running out of all those guys. There's, you don't need to buy no milk. There's gallons of milk on that team. Okay. Then now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want no part of Gibson. The only guy I want a part of is Samuel. Okay, Samuel of the Redskins. If I'm stacking this, and the reason being is he is the number one receiver for the Commanders against zone defense. He targets zone. He's got 16 targets so far against zone defense. And what do Philly run mostly? 72% of the time? Zone defense. Okay. And he runs the ball. So if I have to do, I am not on the Commanders. The only one I will have interest in is, again, I don't care about no revenge factor, because that Philly, they're going to rough their tails up. They're going to rough them up in this game. The only one I have interest on the Commander side is Samuel. Okay. But yeah, the Eagles, Sanders, they're all in play.
All right, Swame, Jaguars and Chargers. Justin Herbert, not 100%, but he feasts against his cover defense. Austin Eckler hasn't really done that much. But the Jaguars have been pretty decent. I feel like this is a game I'm staying away from. Do you feel it any differently?
First, Doc, I want to say I do slightly disagree with Walls. I think the Commanders are going to be better at home. I think Logan Thomas at that price should be in play. I think
I'm sorry.
Over the first couple of weeks.
I did miss Logan Thomas. You're right. I do like him. He's a decent play. Those two, but it's only those two. I don't want those other guys. No, thank you.
Yeah, and the reason why I cut into that segment, Doc, is I'm not how much we have here with the Jaguars. I think the Chargers are going to pretty much control them at home. I don't think the Jaguars are a pass rush. I feel sorry for Mr. Lawrence this week. I think he's going to be under siege. I think once they get down, maybe he starts to get something going once the game is probably out of hand. I don't see them stopping the Chargers. I'm hoping that now, obviously, if the quarterback guys, the QB1 is out and wide receiver 1 is out, now that would change some things. But assuming that they're both playing, and that's what we're hearing right now, then I think the Chargers are going to pretty much control this game. And I'm not sure if the Jaguars, even if they were able to slow them down with their defense, I don't think it's going to be real competitive. Not on.
All right, I don't want to spend too much time on the Packers Buccaneers. I think the only guy in play there is Leonard Fournette.
Hey, I love Fournette in that game. Love him.
Love him. Let's get to one good game and one crappy game, but the crappy game may actually have some nuggets in there. That Falcons and Seahawks game, you got Patterson, you got Drake London, you've got Tyler Lockett, you got Kyle Pitts, who we haven't seen anything of this year. Willie, can we get behind this game at all?
Listen, this might be a little sneak fest right here, because Seattle's defense is horrible, okay? They've allowed, 66.7 completion rate and a 7.9 yards per pass. Now, you got to remember, Mr. London went against two tough defenses, the Saints and the Rams, and he did pretty well. 5 for 74, and then 86 and 1. Okay, that's pretty good to me. But I think the guy that people will – there's two people that's in play that is very sneaky this game. Number one is Mr. Lockett.
Definitely.
Mr. Lockett, 9 of that, 107 yards. And and that's how you beat Atlanta is through that slot. Okay, so Mr. Lockett is really sneaky, and I'm gonna tell you, if that Arthur damn Smith, that big dummy, if he don't get Pitts off in this game, when they have allowed 7.9 yards of targets to tight ends, and they played their tight ends that had that dude from Denver that got 2 left feet, and then they didn't have Kittles, and you let Dwelly get some. If you don't get him off in this game, Mr. Smith, you need to get out of here. You stink. You better get Pitts, because I'm gonna play some Pitts. If Pitts don't do it this game, you can't play Pitts the rest of the year. Arthur Smith, you stink!
Isn't Willie like doing a wrestling promo where he starts out chilly and then all of a sudden he is just like ripping his shirt off and yelling, bringing the house down? All right, Swame, do you like this game at all or not really?
I think I like it a little bit less than old macho man Willie Sanders over there. I tell you why.
Mariota is sneaky this game. Mariota, I'm just telling you. Cheat, sneaky.
I do like Patterson. I like what London has done. I just don't trust I like pieces of it, but right now both offenses, I can see them easily going in here, maybe moving the ball between the 20s, and then I see in Myers and see come out and for these, kicking 3 field goals each. I just don't have a good feel about it right now as we're talking.
All right, Swami, let's stick with Rams and the Cardinals. This game should have some offense. There should be some offense there. Mr. Kupp, Mr. Higbee, Henderson, maybe Cam Akers, who looked better than we all thought last week. For the Cardinals, Zach Ertz could be in play. What you got going on for us here, Swami?
Actually, over the last couple of games, the Rams defense has been dominant. I'm not really sure that the Cardinals offense is where it needs to be yet. Maybe if this would have been a couple of weeks from now, a little late season. But right now, even though they had that great comeback last week, again, the defense helped in that. I'm just not sure offense is going to be able to put up enough fight for this to be the kind of game that we want to see. But if you ask me what piece I like Stafford, I like Kupp, obviously, and Higbee. I'm not interested in Allen Robinson again, and I'm not really sure if it's going to be Henderson that's going to get it in the red zone. So for that reason, I'm gonna stick with Kupp, Higbee, and Cooper. If you force me to even think about coming back with somebody, it would likely be Ertz. But other than that, I'm not very interested in that Cardinal side of the ball.
All right, Willie, I give you 100.
I disagree because, man, they've been getting eaten up by number one receivers. You saw what Stephon Diggs did. You saw what London did against these guys, against number one receivers. So, man, and this might be the time that Mr. Brown finally earns his daggone paycheck. Okay, it might be the time him or Dortch, but I'm telling you, the guy that I do like a lot is Higbee. You can do that all you want. I think Murray might be a sneaky GPP play because he has history-wise has always played pretty well against Rams. And this is when the Rams were stacked last year. They're not that same defensive team this year. So I'm just saying. So I think there might be more fantasy goodness in this game than you think. So I definitely think Brown and Ertz is in play, and maybe even Mr. Murray on the other side. So it's just not one-sided with the Rams. I agree with you. I love Higbee. In this game, he's had 6 straight games of at least 5 catches. If this bastard could just catch the damn touchdown pass, he dropped another touchdown pass last week. He has the fun. But they live without Van Jefferson. He is their other guy that they go to. He's got 11 targets and 9 targets in 2 games. 20 targets from a tight end in 2 games, you'll take that. And these are quality targets. Not no targets where he don't have a chance to score. He can score.
All right, Willie, you have a $100 bill. Who are you putting the stack on?
$100 bill, who am I putting the stack on? There's a, you know what though? I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this because, man, it probably is going to be the Buffalo game. If I do that, it'll be the Buffalo game. But it's a couple of games that really got my interest that a lot of people won't be looking at. And if you notice, just like that Miami game last week, people weren't looking at that game. And I thought it wasn't going to be anything going. So, and you saw what happened. Sometimes we got to uncover those plays that people are not looking at, to get what a stack. So forget that. I'm going to be looking at, probably this. I think this Rams game going to have more fantasy goodness than what people are giving credit to.
Okay. Swami, what about you? Crisp $100 bill. Where are you going?
That what Willie's thinking there from a GPP perspective. But if I got a Chris Hundy, I'm sitting here doing my coin flip now, and it's going to be maybe Burrow or Cousins because I like the stack. If I had to take one, I would go with Cousins at home.
Yeah, I like that stack too, Swami. I'm with you. I think it's a little chalky, but not bad chalky. I'm going to go with Burrow. I like that stack a lot. The Bengals are going to get right this week. All right, Willie, I want the balls to the walls call from Willie Walls. Who's your dude?
Pitts! If he don't do it this game, I'm going to drop him off my damn fantasy team. That bastard, Arthur Smith Pitts, is my guy this week.
Swami says what?
To the wall. Our first round pick is the balls to the walls. That's what Swami say. OMG. Are you kidding me? He go again. It's a good set of a chalkboard. You are
no, Pitts is not a chalkboard.
Hey, says who?
Who? Who says he? Oh, he's not chalk. He's not chalk.
Swami says that your camera's not working. Give me a name, Swami.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Higgins. T. Higgins.
Who?
Oh hell! I know you ain't talking. T. Higgins.
Who did he say?
Higgins. T. Higgins.
T. Higgins. All right.
Yeah, that's real ballsy.
Yeah, I thought the next player was going to be Jonathan Taylor. All right, I'm going to give you Darnell Mooney wakes up out of his Rip Van Winkle like.
That's what I'm talking about. Doc, we going with 2 people that have been cheeks. Cheeks. Nothing.
Ass of the Chiefs.
Give me Elijah Moore.
There you go.
Is my guy.
Thank you, sir. T. Higgins. What?
All right. God, I can't even contain these 2 guys. All right, time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. We wish you much luck this week. We hope you're my newest rich friend. For Doc, Willie, and Swami, we say be well and
take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.